Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I want to give just a real quick update on Burst. I know this is a coin that is hated by many, although there are many other coins that are hated by others that are doing fairly well today. Let's take Verge, for example. What I want to do is I want to take a look at some historical analysis on Burst and kind of compare it to where it is currently sitting today. I want to take us back to the time period here, starting at the very beginning of December and moving our way up to December 14th. So this was a 2-week period where Burst was in a pretty tight squeeze. And you can see that there was a small pump that happened in the middle of this, came back down, and we were kind of, trading sideways for quite some time. I want just to highlight this little pump right here, right? This little pump that happened right in the middle of the squeeze. And we can take a look at our TTM squeeze indicators, which I did a little discussion on in a video previously. And just kind of pointing out, we were in a squeeze, and if I kind of zoom in on this a little bit, you'll see that we were moving our way from the downside, moving our way up, right? And we're looking for, of course, we're looking for a validation of the squeeze moving one way or another. In this case, this came out of the squeeze in a positive manner, and you can see, what I want to do is I want to talk about, conceptuals. If you did trade based on the squeeze indicator, and we're going to be doing worst case scenarios. So if you were to happen to have purchased Burst when the indicator came through as a positive, I'm just going to kind of zoom in on this a little bit here. Right. Okay. So if you purchased at the worst possible moment, which is the highest price, you would have purchased on this green indicator, you would have purchased about 109 satoshis. That's where it capped out. So chances are you probably bought somewhere inside of this area, maybe somewhere inside this body, which is still above 100 satoshis. Right. So a day goes by and you see the price, it goes kind of down here to 100, but it was a good day. There was good action on that particular day. So now we're waiting for this oscillator to start moving in the opposite direction, or we're looking for an indication that this is a really good time to take some profits, right? Because that's the name of the game. So let's take a look and see what happened. So we saw the price go from 105, or sorry, 109, worst case scenario, and it capped out here, which is about 687. Now that's massive profits. Going from 109 to 687, you're talking about a 600 to 700% increase in your holdings. That's huge, right? But now let's just take a look and see what would have happened if you waited for the oscillators to start moving downwards. So worst case scenario, you sold at the lowest point, right? If you sold at the lowest point, you sold around 355. And that is still a 228% profit. That's huge profits. If you traded and purchased at the worst possible price point, and you sold at the worst possible price point, you still made really, really good profits. At this point, I probably would have sold, after I saw this really long wick extend, I probably would have sold somewhere between 400 to 450. Now, this is, of course, assuming that you're timing the market right. When you see long wicks that extend out the top, it means that people are trying to buy, but there's too many people taking profits. So you probably want to do the same, right? And yes, there's a missed opportunity here. You see there is a little bit of a reversal, but it's too risky to re-enter, to chase any rises in price. So the price point to buy was 109 or lower, and the price to sell was about 355 or higher. If you were able to swing any of that, even if you sold at the lowest possible point, 278, you still made really, really good profits. Now, let's kind of fast forward to today because we want to look and see what this is looking like today. I am not saying go buy Burst. This is not what I'm doing. Of course, this is all educational, but what I want to do is compare the price action today compared to what it looked like back in December. You see a small pump, right? Price goes up, price goes down. And the same thing happened here. You see a little green candle, a bigger green candle, and a long red candle. We see a little green candle, a big green candle, then we see another red candle, and it kept extending down. I have a little trend line here just for visual purposes, just as an idea of where this is currently sitting. But we can see we're in a squeeze. We're heading in the right direction, so we need to keep an eye on this. I'll be keeping an eye on this to see where the squeeze exits. If this oscillator exits in the uptrend, chances are pretty good it's going to exit somewhere around 240 to 250. Once it exits this wedge that we have been forming for quite some time, it's been happening since basically the beginning of 2018. So keeping that in mind, we're looking for this squeeze to complete. We're not looking to make any changes in our positions. If you are confident and you feel like opening a position, you can. I will be completely candid with you. I did purchase a little bit around 200 satoshis, so I'm still in a little bit of profit right now. But I'm waiting to see what happens. I'm going to continue to hold and see what continues to happen on the breakout. My stop loss right now is going to be anywhere between 180 and 200. I might just cut my losses if it pops back down to 200. But we're looking to see what happens here in the next couple days. We're watching the squeeze indicator to see where things are heading, and we're not going to chase any rises in price, because if you were to have chased the rise when it went from 205 to capped out about 255. Basically, if you would have purchased that high, you are back down to a 216. So now you're kind of holding and waiting to see what happens. And I do believe that it'll probably flip out on the upside, but you just never know, and it might actually move down. And if it does, it'll probably head back down to 100 satoshis. I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. But so again, keep an eye on the squeeze. Watch the volume. We can see that the high spikes of volume have been positive. So we'll see what happens in the next coming days, and I will make sure to let you know as things develop. So hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe, share with all of your friends. We want to spread the good news. So have a good day, everybody.